Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I will finally be going over the AEW Forbidden Door 2025 results. I know I'm a little late on these results, but it's better late than never. So for some of these, I know I went over 9 matches, but they added like 3 or 4 other matches literally at the last minute, so I didn't do predictions on the first couple of matches that we're gonna just briefly go over. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. And like always, if you like the video, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below if you want to, and if you aren't subscribed already, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you feel like it, and turn on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. And if you want to share the video, that would be great too. And if you do any of those things, that would be very much appreciated. Now, for this video, I am having a Gatorade mashup. And the 2 flavors that are mashed up are Glacier Freeze and Glacier Cherry. So yeah, it pretty much just looks like the Glacier Freeze, except it's also got the 2 flavors of Glacier Freeze and Glacier Cherry. But enough about Gatorade mashup. This is about AEW, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, so the first match I have here was on the pre-show. So this was an 8-man tag team match between Paragon, that would be Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, someone named El Desperado, and I want to say Una Yermona. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway, that team is facing Cruz and the Don Callis family, which honestly, I didn't give a shit about this match. So, the winning team was the team of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong and El Desperado and the other person whose name I don't care about. They defeated Rush, Action Andrade, Hersecho, and Josh Alexander. So, yeah, it was like a whatever type of match. It was there to load up the card. So, yep. All right. So the next match on the pre-show, again, this was on the pre-show, once again added at the last minute. This match I kind of gave a little bit more of a fuck about than the last. So this was a 6-man tag team match between Jet Speed and Michael Oka. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway, Jet Speed and this Michael guy went and they faced Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. And of course, I mean, no matter what you think about Ricochet, he is a great talent in the ring. And yeah, this guy, Michael, the Michael guy, apparently this was his home country of London, England. And there was one spot that was, for that Michael guy, that was pretty rough because he went over the top rope and it's like he almost landed on his fucking head. Like, damn. But anyway, the winners of this match was Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, defeating Speedball, Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, and the random Michael guy that I've never heard of. I'm sure I know he has a name and people that like him, but I don't know who he is. So anyway, we're going to move on. Now, this one was also on the pre-show, which I actually honestly, this was probably the best of the pre-show matches, if I'm being honest. This was a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this was an 8-women's tag team match, 8-women's tag team match between Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminati, and Willow Nightingale versus the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla, and Megan Bain. So yeah, this one was a little bit more interesting. Plus, you had Harley Cameron, my favorite, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminati, who's fine as hell too, and Willow Nightingale, she's pretty fine too. And then, let's face it, all 4 on the other side are fine as hell too. So you had 8 incredibly attractive women in this match, but besides them being totally attractive, They delivered the best match of the pre-show, in my opinion, looks aside. So yeah, Megan Bain, I'm just kind of gonna skim through it because we got a lot more to get to. So Megan Bain looked absolutely dominant and unstoppable in this match in a way she needed, especially if this accumulates in a babyface. I don't know if they're going to do blood and guts. That's like something that I've noticed. They haven't done blood and guts yet. They might. I mean, if they do it this year, they're they're obviously not going to do it in the summer. Maybe they save that for a fall pay per view. I have no idea, but so the match ends. We'll talk about the ending of the match, which was pretty significant. So Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale still cannot get along. Queen Aminati is too focused on Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue as as Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue are a strong united team together. So everything worked out in this match for Megan Bain, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla as Megan Bain, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla won the match. And after the match, so the Triangle of Madness, they were beating down Queen Aminati, and then that's when Jamie Hayter's music returned. That's right. I guess she was able to find her way out of being buried 6 feet under with Tony Khan's booking, and she finally came back. Oh boy. I thought we would never see her again, if I'm being completely honest, after Mercedes Moné and Tekla buried her. So that's good that Jamie Hayter has returned to hopefully try to get. Hopefully, Tekla and Jamie Hayter will have some kind of feud going into the fall months. So that was great to see her. Jamie Hayter's return got a hell of a pop from the crowd. So, and here's the weird thing about that, though. When Jamie Hayter came out there, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla, it's 3-on-1, okay? But the three women that clearly would have the advantage, they run away. It's like she doesn't have a weapon or anything in her hand. She's just like going out there by herself, not even armed, like, like telling them to come on, let's do this. And they back away, they get out of there. I guess they are scared of the Daphne lookalike, but no. There was what was it, last year when Jamie Hayter came back. No, there was one episode of Dynamite where Jamie Hayter did dress up as Daphne from Scooby Doo, and she's still got the hair to match. So it was like really funny. It was like, hey, if you just wanted to dress up as one of the Scooby Doo characters, you have Daphne in AEW. Jamie Hayter right there. She's definitely got the look. Anyway, I have to say that was honestly the best match of the pre-show, because we have one more pre-show match before we actually get to the main card. So this is going to be for the AEW World Trios titles between the Ops facing some group I've never heard of before, the Bullet Club War Dogs. I'm not really going to go into the match. So Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata, they beat the they won the match. I forgot the group's name they beat already. That's how irrelevant that group is probably gonna be, because I just said their names and I forgot the Bullet Dogs or some shit. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs retain the trios titles. So yeah. Okay, now on to the main show. So the first match of the night on the main show was a tag team match between Adam Copeland, aka Edge, and Christian Cage going up against Steel Kill Switch, and Kip Sabian. I wish they would just give Luchasaurus his name back, because like the fact that they're still calling him Kill Switch, even though before the patriarchy turned on Christian gave Luchasaurus that name of Kill Switch. I just wish they would just go ahead and drop it and give him his old name back. It fits him, But anyway, so let's talk about... Okay, so let's go over this. Christian Cage won the crowd over slowly, despite struggling to find his confidence in contesting Kill Switch. Once he had the crowd behind him, Christian also found his old synergy with Adam Copeland again, the rated R superstar, speared Kill Switch out of the ring. Then the patriarch Christian Cage elected to hit Sabian with a. Okay, let me see. Yeah, the patriarch elevated Sabian for a cope spear to take the win. So it was nice to see Edge and Christian get the win. I was like, if they give the win to Cape, if they give the win to Cape Sips, if they give the win, Jesus Christ, I can't talk. If they give the win to Kip Sabian and Kill Switch, there we go, I got it right now, Jesus. If they would give the win to Kip Sabian and Kill Switch, I feel like that would have been a big mistake. And plus, when Edge come out there, that London crowd, the fact that they were, yeah, so the crowd understood the assignment when they were singing Edge's theme song louder than the actual music on the speakers, which I gotta give it up for that UK crowd. They, yes, very very, very fantastic on the crowd's part to sing along to Edge's theme song, and it is a very recognizable and very catchy theme song. It's very good. So yeah, would the American United States crowd be that energetic to sing his theme? Probably not. It seems like the London crowds usually understand and they know what to do. So that was very good to start the show there. And then Brian Danielson was also on commentary along with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. Yeah, so and also during the match, even though they're still sticking with Kill Switch for Luchasaurus, you could hear that crowd chanting Luchasaurus at him. They want him to drop the name Kill Switch. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will eventually, but let's just see what they do about that. And interesting enough, Adam Copeland let Christian start the match, but he tagged out immediately when Kill Switch tagged in. So yeah, this was a great little tag team match to start off with, and that was the right result. Now, if Nick Wayne would have been in the match instead of Luchasaurus, would Edge and Christian have won? I still think they could have, but then I could have seen a case where, okay, they might want to go ahead and give the win to Nick Wayne by pinning Christian Cage, but he wasn't in the match, and I'm like, no, ain't no way Edge and Christian Cage are going to lose to fucking Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus. So that was good. They got the right outcome to start the show. That was good. That was a good match to start the night off with. Next up, we have the TNT Championship match between the TNT champion Kyle Fletcher defending against. I got it right on. I mean, I didn't get it right, but I'm gonna get it. I got it wrong on the predictions video, and I'm sure I'm gonna get it wrong here. So Kyle Fletcher is defending against Himaru Takashini. I know I got that completely wrong, so I'm just going to call him TH. TH for short. So this match, it was fine. It was okay. It wasn't as good as the tag team match, that's for sure. But to nobody's surprise, Kyle Fletcher won, and he retained the TNT championship. Yeah, like I can't really think of anybody that Kyle Fletcher is going to lose that TNT championship to, at least right now. I can't literally think of nobody. It would be way too soon for Kyle Fletcher to lose, and especially to somebody that isn't even in AEW. So, yeah, I'm not too surprised there. Okay, what do we have next? Yeah, okay. So we have another match. We have the Fatal 4-Way match for the TBS Championship between the TBS champion Mercedes Moné defending against Alex Windsor and Persephone. I was calling her, what the hell did I call her? I think I called her Poseidon Stone. I don't know where that come from, but I heard someone else say her name. So Persephone and Bozilla in a Fatal 4-Way match, and to nobody's, maybe my surprise, but to like 99% of people's to no surprise, Mercedes Moné retained. It was okay. It was a okay fatal 4-way match. It kind of just it sucked. It sucked knowing that, of course, Mercedes Moné, for that one loss she took against Timeless Tony Storm, she got to beat 3 women in one match. Wow! Congratulations, Mercedes Moné. You are now 9 belts Moné, and I'm not fucking kidding, because before Forbidden Door, Mercedes Moné, guess what? Mercedes Moné went to another wrestling promotion and she won their women's championship. So now she has 9 fucking championship belts. Like, my God. Like, I don't. Look, don't get it twisted. Mercedes Moné is good. She's pretty good in the ring. She can still go. And, she. Obviously, she won. But, like, Tony Khan does not want to upset that apple cart, bro. Like, I don't know what they're waiting. I don't know what they're waiting on for her holding for as long as she's held that TBS championship. I don't know, man. The only thing that I can think of why they're waiting so long is because I was looking it up. Jade Cargill, who is now in AEW, I mean, not AEW, thank God she ain't in AEW no more, but the same Jade Cargill who is now in WWE, I meant to say, WWE gained nothing by getting Jade Cargill. AEW lost nothing by letting Jade Cargill go, and WWE received nothing when they got Jade Cargill. But anyway, Jade Cargill held the TBS championship for 508 days, and Mercedes Moné currently has held the same championship for over 455 days. So my only guess is they're waiting for Mercedes Moné to top that 508 days before she drops the title. That's the only reason that I'm coming to. That's the only simple logistical thing that I can think of as to why she's holding on to this championship so long. At this point, fuck it. She might as well hold on to it and break that record and then drop the title. No matter if it's at 509 days, 510 days. At this fucking point, we gotta suffer 2-3 more months at least before they even think about dropping the title. Oh man, wait a minute. It's at least it's gonna be a little more. I would say no, it's gonna be I would say more than 50 days. So she's got anywhere probably between oh god, probably another 60, 70 days. I would guess. Because I think that's what they're waiting on. I think they're waiting on Mercedes Moné to break Jade Cargill's record as the longest reigning TBS champion in AEW history. Even if they ended at 509, she will have officially broke the record. You got what I'm saying? I bet that's what they're waiting on. And then, Tony Khan, he doesn't want to upset that Mercedes Moné apple cart. 9 fucking belts. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you. And we're gonna talk about Mercedes Moné in a little bit, but not right now. We're gonna move on away from her, and we're gonna talk about her again a little bit later. But let's see what the next match is. So this is something I did want to talk about. So Mercedes Moné came out to a Royal Guard entrance. Like, she had the Royal Guard surround her, and all of them were holding all of her championship belts except for the TBS championship. She had that one around her waist, but all of the other titles, she had Royal Guard surrounding her, holding all of the other championship belts. So I guess at least for one night, she didn't have to carry all them championship belts all on her shoulders and everywhere. My goodness. So yeah, so even though Alex Windsor was the favorite, as far as like her being the hometown favorite, yeah, I was thinking maybe they were going to give it to her, but I'm not sure who they're planning on her losing to when she breaks Jade Cargill's record. It could be anybody. They got to be waiting for that. Why else? They have to be, bro. So, I don't know. Next up, we're just going to quickly talk about this one. This next match is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship between the world champion Zack Sabre Jr. defending against Nigel McGuinness. And I gotta say, up to this point, this was easily the second best match because I kind of gave a fuck about this match a little bit. Even though I knew Nigel McGuinness wasn't going to win, he still got a very nice crowd reaction because he is from the London, England area or in that vicinity, right? So it was nice for him to get a loud pop from the crowd, Nigel McGuinness, that is, but I'm not surprised Zack Sabre Jr. retained the title, but I would say up to this point, this was the second best match. Which, to be honest, that's not really saying much, but the Kyle Fletcher match, it was fine for what it is, but I think the worst match up to this point was that Fatal 4-Way match because it was so disappointing because, oh great, Mercedes Moné wins again. What a shocker. Anyway, we'll talk about her one more time when we get to this one match. So, yeah. Alright, so next up. Now, here we go. This was the surprise of the night, which we're going to get ready to talk about here in 1 second. The next match was a triple threat tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and the Hurt Syndicate are defending against FTR and Brodito. Now, here's where the surprise factor comes into this. We got new tag team champions, by the way. Yep, the Hurt Syndicate lost the tag team championships. But honestly, did you think FTR was going to win the tag team titles? I certainly thought so, but no. Brodito, Brody King, and Bandino won the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Man, congratulations to Brodito. I don't know how long they're going to keep the tag team titles, but I got to be honest. I thought they were going to be the first team to be eliminated. That was a genuine surprise. That was a genuine shock. Okay, you could have one W on the night, Tony Khan, for this one, because like nobody, I don't think nobody saw this outcome. Nobody saw this outcome coming. Nobody did. I didn't. I find it hard to believe anybody saw this one coming, and that's a good thing to have an unpredictable winner from time to time. Yes, it keeps things fresh and interesting. Now, where do I think the tag team titles, where that direction is heading? Okay. So, let's talk about how the Hurt Syndicate lost real quick. So, the Hurt Syndicate had trouble keeping up with the insane wild pace of FTR and Brodito, but eventually Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin took control. The control was taken away from them by an attack from these three masked men, which turned out to be Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. This left Bandino and Brody King to catch Dax Harwood with their finisher in the ring for the win. So that's right, the Hurt Syndicate didn't get pinned. This was still an elimination match, and since Ricochet and the Gates of Agony came out there, and they ended up running the Hurt Syndicate out of the match entirely, so I guess that counted as an elimination, and Brodito just had to beat FTR to win the tag team titles. Honestly, let me scratch that about Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness. I would say up to this point, the triple threat tag team match was the second best match of the night. I think the best match of the night so far was Edge and Christian Cage and Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus up to this point. So, where do I think the tag team championship, the tag team titles, their destination? I think eventually, you know what? I forgot to, I got to plug this in real quick. So, the destination for the tag team titles, I think the tag team titles is eventually going to end up with Edge and Christian Cage. However, I don't think they're going to be beating Brodito. As great and surprising as a win for Brodito as this was for them, I think Brodito, unfortunately, are just transitional champions for a longer path at a later date. I think somehow the Young Bucks are going to get back into the tag team division and go after the tag titles, and they could possibly end up beating Brodito, and then I could see eventually Edge and Christian Cage eventually getting more and more on the same page and going after the tag team titles and winning the tag titles from the Young Bucks. We'll see if they do any of that, or how much of that they do. But we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, that was an unexpected win for Brodito, and congratulations to them once again. So, okay, so next up, we have the Unified Championship match between the AEW Unified Champion Okada defending against Swerve Strickland. And Swerve Strickland, he walked into this match with a bum knee. And long story short, Okada, he ended up unsurprisingly retaining the championship, and he beat Swerve Strickland. And after the match, Okada trapped Swerve Strickland's leg behind the steel steps, the leg that, where he had the messed up knee, and he was swinging a steel chair on the steel steps. Like, that is their way of writing Swerve Strickland off of TV, because apparently since 2019, Swerve Strickland has had a torn meniscus. And so, by that, from, that brutal assault from Okada with the steel chair on the steel steps, that has pretty much, that has written Swerve Strickland. That's gonna write him off TV for I don't know how long, but it's gonna be a while. So, and then also when Prince Nana went to go check on Swerve Strickland, you had someone come into the ring, and this person that came into the ring, he attacked and beat down Prince Nana. And this individual was Wardlow. That's right, Wardlow has come back, and Wardlow is now a part of the Don Callis family. And Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana, especially Swerve Strickland, he'll be off of TV for a while. And I'm assuming Prince Nana will be gone, because, he's only really associated with Swerve Strickland, so that sucks that Swerve Strickland will be gone for a while. But you know what? If it's for him to go get better and to go get healed up, go ahead and do that. So yeah. So I'm not surprised Okada retained. It is what it is. It was a fine match. It was probably better than some of the earlier matches, to be honest with you. So yeah. Okay, so let me see what match is next. Okay, so this next match is for the AEW Women's World Championship between Timeless Toni Storm, the women's champion, defending against Athena, who is cashing in her Casino Gauntlet contract. And Athena took her time mocking Timeless Toni Storm early in this match, but the Timeless one refused to go down easily, even with an obvious neck injury hobbling her. Billy Starks protected Athena when Storm started to come back, until Mina Shirakawa got involved. The Timeless one then countered the O-face into a cross-face chicken wing to win by submission. So that's right, Athena tapped out to the cross-face chicken wing for Timeless Toni Storm to win and retain. I'll admit, I got this one wrong. I legitimately thought that Athena was going to win. I thought some fuckery or some bullshit was going to happen to where she was going to cheat to win, and well, that didn't happen. Congratulations to Timeless Toni Storm for winning and retaining. and we're going to talk about what she wore out to the ring and stuff in a minute. God, I love Timeless Toni Storm. She's fucking great. But anyway, so let's talk about Mercedes Moné one more time in this video. So my only worry with Timeless Toni Storm winning and retaining is the fact is Toni Storm, not Toni Storm, Tony Khan rather, is Tony Khan going to go back to, oh, we got to have a Timeless Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné rematch, but this time Mercedes Moné win? Is that where we're heading? Oh Lord, please, like, don't let that be a fucking reality. Like, oh God, because if they do that and you have the realistic possibility of Mercedes Moné winning, then I would be like, what the fuck was Toni Storm's win at All In for? It was for absolutely nothing. That's my concern. That's my worry when it comes to Toni Storm retaining because of that potential rematch that we probably might end up getting. Yeah, because like at that point you would have been just like, huh, well fuck, you might as well have had Mercedes Moné win in July. Like, that's the only concern I have with that. But anyway, enough about Mercedes Moné for one video. So yeah, the this was a really good match. I thought it was a pretty good match. Honestly, it was certainly 100 times better than that Fatal 4-Way match. That's for sure. So yeah, let's talk about Toni Storm and what she wore. So Toni Storm's music and entrance plays, and Toni Storm comes out to the ring, and she's got like this powdered wig on, right? It's like one of those like powdered wigs from back in George Washington's day, like that era. She came out in one of those wigs. She had this white face paint on, and her attire was this white and pink ensemble. You know, she looks great. Both women, Timeless Toni Storm and Athena, looked great. I had a great time watching the match. I had a great time watching that match, and if I wanted to go back and rewatch a match, I would say honestly this is probably the third. No, you know what? No. Toni Storm and Athena was the second best match up to this point. If there are two matches that I would want to go back and rewatch again, it would be the Edge and Christian Cage tag team match, and then this women's championship match. So far, up to this point, those are the two matches I would want to go back and rewatch again. They were that great up to this point. And Athena, she came out and she had these these angel wings. I don't know if they were exactly angel wings, but she had these wings on the back of her jacket that she was wearing, and they had like some pink to them, and they looked pretty cool too. So yeah, this was a fun match overall. Next up, this match right here is probably the best match of the night, probably in a lot of people's opinion that we're getting ready to talk about. This match, not surprisingly, could have been the main event if it wasn't for one more match that we're going to get ready to talk about after this. So this match is for the AEW World Championship, and you have the world champion Hangman Adam Page defending against MJF. Excuse me. And with this world title match, you have the added stipulations of the title can change by disqualification or count out, and MJF doesn't have to use his Casino Gauntlet contract, which honestly, something like the Casino Gauntlet contract fits perfectly for MJF's character. So I'm kind of glad they went away from that stipulation, because that gives him an out. That gives him a second chance if he screws up and doesn't win the match. So here we go. Okay, so MJF tried to steal this match time and time again, even nearly taking it after a referee bump, a low blow, and a heat seeker, because MJF pinned Adam Page and Adam Page, he didn't kick out, but he put his foot on the rope, and the referee was blinded, and he count 1, 2, 3, but you didn't hear the bell, you didn't hear no music, and MJF has got his arms up like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm celebrating, I just won the world title, you know. And that's when Mark Briscoe decides to come on out there to stop him from trying to fucking cheat. And after security follows Mark Briscoe out there, and after they get him out of there, MJF turns around and realizes Adam Page has still got the rope on his foot, and MJF, he tries to be a slick motherfucker, and he tries to take that rope off the foot, but the referee catches it in time and sees that that Adam Page's foot is on the rope, and he's like, no, 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 his foot was on the rope. The match is still continuing. It's still in progress. And MJF is like, what? No, 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 his foot wasn't on the rope. I won the match. I'm the world champion. You know, he's arguing with the referee, but the referee is not having it. He's like, nope, the match is still on. It's still in progress. Let's fucking go, you know. So yeah, Adam Page, he got his foot on the rope, which Mark Briscoe, he helped the referee to see in time. MJF couldn't get the win with a low blow or contract shot, because there was one time that MJF used the Casino Gauntlet contract, because you got to remember the contract, it's on a clipboard, but it's made of metal. It's not the wood. It's not the wood clipboards that y'all were thinking of. So it's like metal. So he, behind the referee is blinded or distracted or whatever at that point. And MJF tries to use the contract to try to cheat, and he slides it out of the ring, out of the view of the referee, but Adam Page kicks out of that. Then the let's see. Okay, then Adam Page blasted MJF back with the contract. So yeah, so MJF tried to use the contract on Adam Page, which he did, and MJF tried to kick out, but somehow the referee got distracted again. So Adam Page found the contract, and he blasted MJF with the very same contract. Then he hit a deadeye and a buckshot lariat to pin MJF. 1, 2, 3. Adam Page retains the world championship. So there you go. So this was a very good, hard-hitting match. Neither fucking man disappointed. I knew this was going to be a really good match. These two can absolutely fucking go. Absolutely. There were multiple times in this match where MJF tried to cheat. And there was one instance where, okay, so yeah, here's some moments and observations. So Adam Page got arguably the biggest pure pop of the night, while the fans also sang along to MJF's theme. That London crowd, as far as singing along to themes, was fucking great. So Adam Page brought the fight to the ringside area early and had to be talked down from using a steel chair by the referee. After targeting the left arm often, MJF countered the buckshot lariat into the salt of the earth. This was early on in the match. The salt of the earth grabbed the timekeeper's table and carried it to the ramp. After a brawl, Adam Page used it himself for a deadeye. So yeah, apparently going through tables is not a disqualification, which honestly I'm okay with that, because Adam Page, he used that deadeye on MJF through the table just outside the ring there. MJF at one point lured Adam Page outside and caught the Cowboy running, caught Hangman Adam Page running, sending him face first into a steel chair to bust him open. Yeah, so we got a little bit of blood in this match, which, I mean, it's supposed to be a normal one-on-one match, but it's fine. It's not as bad as the next match we're going to get to. We're going to talk about it. Oh god, but anyway, let's finish talking about this. So the salt of the earth followed up with a tombstone on the broken table, then demanded a count out. Hangman made it back at 9. Yeah, the referee was counting, and it was close. They had you thinking, oh shit, MJF is going to win the title on a count out, but no. Adam Page made it in the ring just in time. And, okay, so MJF exposed the turnbuckle, but Adam Page was the one to send him first face into it, breaking him open, and the crowd chanted, "You deserved it." And then, after the two rolled back and forth through roll-up attempts, Hangman caught him with a deadeye for a near fall. fight forever chants rang out afterward through the crowd. And then one point in the match, MJF dropped to his knees. He had his arms out and he pulled out his dynamite diamond ring and he threw it to Adam Page's feet. And he's like, come on, give me your fucking best shot. Use it on me. I want you to use it in front of the referee. And Adam Page picked it up, but then he threw it, he tossed it aside out of the ring. So yeah, he tried to goad Adam Page into intentionally getting himself disqualified to win the title, but no, that didn't work. So nothing was lost for MJF. He still has that Casino Gauntlet contract, and I do believe MJF will eventually beat Adam Page for the world title using that contract. It's eventually going to happen, but it's nice to know that, yeah, Adam Page, he was able to beat MJF. MJF wasn't able to get the best of him yet. So I would say this might have been, honestly, maybe match of the night. It was that good. It was pretty good. Those two didn't disappoint. So now we're going to get to the main event, the last match of the night. So this is going to be the lights out steel cage match between Team Ospreay, Team Will Ospreay versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. So I like how they set this up. So I thought they were going to do a traditional steel cage, okay? But how they set it up, I really applauded them for it. I'm glad they did it this way. How they set the steel cage up. Okay, think of a Hell in a Cell match, except half of the Hell in a Cell has been cut off. So, yeah, it's like, think of a Hell in a Cell match, except there's no roof on the Hell in a Cell. And that's the lights out steel cage match. So, yeah, they were able to get in and out of the ring. Except it was a steel cage, kind of like a Hell in a Cell, but half the size. Which that was an ingenious way for them to make this match. And honestly, I prefer this new setup for the steel cage. It'd be cool if even WWE started to do it instead of their normal steel cage match. So obviously you can't win by escaping the steel cage in this instance, because there were at least one or two spots where there was some high flying shit happening. So yeah, only by pinfall or submission in this case. So here we go. Okay, so after a brutal spot heavy battle, Matt Jackson was left alone in the ring for a Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega combination of a hidden blade and one winged angel, followed by a high fly flow from Hoshura Tanahashi to win. So Team Will Ospreay ended up winning this match. Okay, so after helping Darby Allin to his feet for a full babyface celebration, the ring was left for Will Ospreay only, because I remember how I said that they are working an injury angle with Swerve Strickland to write him off the TV. Well, they're also doing the same with Will Ospreay here. So, okay, we're going to talk more about it. I just kind of got to the results pretty quickly. So, Will Ospreay was left in the ring to celebrate, only for the Death Riders to trap him, hitting repeat Death Riders. The Ops arrived to help to try to break the cage door open, but the thing is, the steel cage doesn't have a roof. This part I didn't understand, okay? You got a steel cage that's kind of like the Hell in a Cell, but it doesn't have a roof. It doesn't have a ceiling. You could just climb over the steel cage and get to them that way. And they didn't think to do that, to try to help Will Ospreay from getting murdered, from him getting his ass whooped after the match. Okay, anyway. So, they try to break the cage door down, even though it doesn't have a fucking roof. They could not stop a final stomp from Mox, because they wrap a chair around Will Ospreay's neck, and they stop the beatdown. They end the beatdown with one final stomp from Jon Moxley on the chair wrapped around Ospreay's neck. even the long list of notable moments, does not fully encapsulate the wildness of this match. This was incredible hardcore battle, delivering so many good moments throughout. Darby Allin was the healthiest face in this match and took so many wild bumps as he usually does. Will Ospreay might have suffered the second most, though, which is ridiculous given his current health, because he has something going on with his spine before the match. And this is their way of writing off Will Ospreay of him getting murdered, but not really. He already has an injury going into this match, and that's their way of writing him off, the beatdown after the match. So, yeah, so let's see. What do we got here? Okay, so this match had plenty of wild spots. You have one part where Will Ospreay is climbing the cage and he does a flip onto, like, you have the Death Riders, the Young Bucks down below, and he just back flips onto them, even though he's got like a spine issue. He's like still doing that. And then you had one moment in the match where Darby Allin, we're going to get to Darby Allin again, but we have one moment in the match where Darby Allin is being grabbed by Gabe Kidd. They're on top of the cage on one part of the cage, and there's 4 tables stacked up side by side, and both of them go through two of the 4 tables right outside, and then Will Ospreay, I forget who is on the announce table. Anyway, they get somebody on the announce table, one of the Death Riders, I believe it is, and Will Ospreay does like another backflip and lands on the individual on the announce table. The announce table breaks, and oh god, this part, even if I wanted to find a picture, I'm pretty sure YouTube would not be okay with this one. Anyway, so Darby Allin at one point in the match is alone with the Death Riders, and they get a chair, they get a steel chair, they set the steel chair up like they put Darby Allin sitting in the steel chair, and they duct tape him to the steel chair, and Darby Allin's ear is already bleeding a little bit at this point. So the Death Riders have Darby Allin duct taped to the steel chair, and Jon Moxley proceeds to pull out a fork. Okay? Oh god. Jon Moxley proceeds to pull out a fork, and he is just going to town on he's going to town on Darby Allin's ear with the fork. It's like he's twisting the fork on his ear, like he's getting ready to scoop up a big swirl of spaghetti on the fork, but it's this guy's fucking ear. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think YouTube would be okay with even showing an image of that. No, probably not. So, if you really are curious about what that looks like, you can look it up. It's probably on AEW's YouTube page for all I know. So, okay, so there was one spot in the match where this was funny as hell, where the Young Bucks had a bag, and they thought it was a bag of thumbtacks they were going to pour all on the ring, right? Well, come to their surprise, it's a bag of gummy bears. Yes, like actual gummy bears that you can eat. By the way, since the Young Bucks have lost their EVP titles, AEW has been fucking with them by giving them no pyro when they ask for it. They're giving them the lamest entrance music that they can give them just to fuck with them. And I'm sure the Young Bucks have some creative say-so behind the scenes to say, yeah, we want to do that to try to get people to laugh. You got what I'm saying? So backstage, they probably got some say-so. Yeah, let's, you know what? We like that, Tony Khan. Let's do it. Okay. Even though on camera, they don't have any power anymore. Backstage, they got backstage influence, I'm sure. They probably got some approval on that for sure. And then there was one moment in the match where Kenny Omega is picking up Jon Moxley up for a one-winged eagle finisher, and he's looking over at Mina Shafir, and the camera pans to Mina Shafir after Kenny Omega hits the move on Jon Moxley, and you can hear Mina Shafir say, "Fuck you, Kenny." Like, they don't blurt it out. You can actually see her and hear her say the F word, and I thought that was great because, like, back in that Anarchy in the Arena match, that brought back flashbacks for Mina Shafir when Kenny Omega did the same maneuver on her during that match, which that's why she said "F you, Kenny." Like, and he purposely wanted her to see it just to fuck with her, to taunt her, right? And let's see, what was one more thing I wanted to say? Oh, the Young Bucks, when they came out, the Young Bucks, like, they came out to no music at first because the audio team where they play the music and stuff is like fucking with them still. And they're like, that both of them are like, come on, we want our old music, talking about their current music that they used before they lost to Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. But when they said old music, yeah, they gave them their old music because they came out, they played over the speakers. They came out to their very first theme, M Bop. Now, I don't know if that was like a TNA theme or when they first came to AEW. But I would imagine, because they were in TNA back in the day. So I imagine that was maybe a TNA theme that they used a long time ago. And that was great because you could see Kenny Omega, he's just a dancing and a singing in the ring to that music just to fuck with the Young Bucks, because the music, it's bad. It is awful, but it's great because all of, you got Will Ospreay, all of them in the ring, they're just a dancing and a laughing at them and shit when they're coming out. And they're like, both of the Young Bucks like, this, no, this is bullshit. This is not, what is this? Turn it off. But they got no power on screen, so they keep playing it, right? Which, of course, they got some backstage say so to do it. They're like, you know what? Let's make us look bad. Let's have them get a laugh out of us. So I'm sure they got some say so and approval on this for sure. So, yeah, I don't think I have anything. Oh, there was one more thing. Claudio, he ended up tossing Darby Allin out of the ring and into the cage, and Darby Allin nearly hit that damn metal thing in between the cage. He almost hit it by a damn hair, but he ended up hitting the cage. Like, damn, Jesus Christ. I don't know how old Darby Allin is. He's got to be in maybe early 30s, I want to say, but how Darby Allin is not in a wheelchair by the time he's in his mid 40s, I'll be amazed. I really will. Like, gee, goddamn, he takes some unnecessary risks, for sure. So yeah, the babyface team wins this match. So, what was my favorite match? I'll go my top 3 favorite matches of the card. Number 1, I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page and MJF for the world title. That was my favorite match of the night. My second favorite match was the Lights Out Steel Cage match. I'll go with that for second place. And then my third favorite match was Timeless Toni Storm and Athena for the women's championship. Everything after that, I would say behind the women's championship match was probably not Adam Page, but Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. But after that, I kind of just like, if I had to pick 4 matches I would re-watch for Forbidden Door, it would be those 4 matches I just listed. That I would definitely re-watch again, without a doubt. Everything else I could probably just like, I saw it once. Do I really need to re-watch them again? Not really. But these 4 matches I would absolutely re-watch again if I had the time and means to do so. Absolutely. So, yeah, where do I rank this? I think this overall was a pretty solid pay-per-view. Was it better than All In? No. All In is still the best AEW pay-per-view of the year. Honestly, it's the best pay-per-view of the year, to be completely honest. Some people said that Forbidden Door this year was the worst AEW pay-per-view. No. I would say this one was in definitely the top 10 for sure. No. I think the worst pay-per-view as far as AEW goes is definitely still AEW Dynasty. Oh god, that pay-per-view was god fucking awful. No. When your best match is a triple threat match involving Kenny Omega, Mike Bailey, and Ricochet over a Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland match, you got fucking problems. I'm just saying. I would say the worst pay per view of the year is probably SummerSlam because they brought back he who must not be named, Brock Lesnar. Just for simply for that, I would say the worst pay per view of the year from any company, SummerSlam, just for that one decision. Yeah, fuck Brock Lesnar. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support and for stopping by. And if you're new, welcome on in for the very first time. I'm glad to have your support and thank you for your time. I am Buck Beak, and I'm going to go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye, guys.